Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. There is a story the world often tells us about women who walk alone. A story laced with pity, assumptions, and whispers of what went wrong. But what if walking alone isn't about loss? What if it's about something deeper? What if it's about courage? To stand in your own life without the shield of someone else's name, decisions, or expectations is a radical act of bravery. It is a choice to be seen exactly as you are, not as the world expects you to be. Walking alone means embracing uncertainty, and that is no easy thing. But here's the truth. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the birthplace of every bold decision, every act of love, every moment of real courage. It is where strength is forged, not in the moments when life is easy, but in the moments when we stand alone, trembling, and still say, I will keep going. Walking alone in life, especially as a woman without a husband, can sometimes feel like stepping onto a stage with all the lights shining directly on you. It can feel exposed, uncertain, even intimidating. But here's the truth. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the most profound form of strength. The world often teaches us that to be strong, we must be guarded, that we must wear layers of armor, keep our emotions tucked away, and prove over and over again that we can handle things on our own without breaking. But real strength is not found in shutting out the world. It is found in standing open to it. It is found in the willingness to be seen as we truly are without fear of judgment or shame. For a woman who walks alone, vulnerability is often unavoidable. There are moments of doubt, of loneliness, of questioning whether the world sees her as whole or as lacking something. Society may tell her that being alone is something to be fixed, that a life without a partner is incomplete. But vulnerability allows her to step into her own story, to say, this is my life, and I will live it fully, even when it feels uncertain. Vulnerability means admitting that life can be unpredictable, that heartbreaks happen, that plans change. It means accepting that loneliness may come and go, but knowing it does not define her. It means embracing the discomfort of not always having all the answers and still choosing to move forward. There is immense power in choosing to be vulnerable rather than hiding behind perfection. When a woman walks alone and chooses vulnerability, she invites deeper connections, truer friendships, and more meaningful experiences. She learns that strength is not in pretending to have it all together, but in allowing herself to be seen exactly as she is, flaws, fears, dreams, and all. So to every woman who walks alone, know that your willingness to embrace vulnerability is not a sign of fragility. It is a sign of extraordinary courage, because it takes far more strength to walk through life with an open heart than it does to build walls that keep love, growth, and possibility at bay. Vulnerability is not the absence of strength, it is the foundation of it. And in walking alone, over expectation. A woman who walks alone without a husband is often met with raised eyebrows, unspoken pity, or even outright questioning. Why are you still single? Aren't you afraid of being alone? Don't you want a family? These are not just casual inquiries. They are reflections of a world that has been taught to measure a woman's worth by her relationship status. But the truth is, a woman's value does not come from conforming to society's expectations. It comes from living her truth, even when that truth does not fit into a predefined box. Authenticity means choosing yourself even when it's uncomfortable. It means embracing your desires, your dreams, your way of life, rather than chasing an image of what others believe you should be. For a woman who walks alone, authenticity is an act of defiance. It is a refusal to shrink herself down to fit into a mold that was never meant for her in the first place. Being authentic requires courage. It means listening to your own voice rather than the noise of the world. It means standing firm when people question your choices. It means understanding that happiness is not found in external validation, but in the deep knowing that you are living a life that aligns with your heart and soul. The truth is, there are many ways to live a full, meaningful life. Some women find joy in marriage while others find joy in solitude. Some women thrive in partnership while others discover their greatest strength in independence. Authenticity is about honoring the life that feels right for you rather than the one that others expect you to live. When a woman chooses authenticity over expectations, she liberates herself from the pressure to conform. She stops measuring her success by societal standards and instead defines it for herself. She learns that true fulfillment comes not from meeting the world's demands, but from walking a path that is uniquely hers. So to every woman who has chosen to walk alone, know this: you are not failing, you are not missing out, and you are not incomplete. You are simply choosing to live in a way that is true to you. And that choice, the choice to be authentic in a world that demands conformity, is the most powerful one of all. Resilience is not built in moments of ease. It is forged in the fires of discomfort, uncertainty, and challenge. A woman who walks alone, without a husband, without the societal safety net of a conventional partnership, knows this truth better than most. She moves through a world that often sees her as incomplete, as if her life is waiting for something to begin. But she knows better. She knows that the discomfort of walking a different path is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength in its purest form. Discomfort is an inevitable part of life. There will be moments of loneliness, moments of doubt, moments when she wonders if she has made the right choices. There will be times when she sits in silence, feeling the weight of an empty house or the sting of an unanswered question about when she will settle down. But here is where resilience is born, not in avoiding these moments, but in facing them head on. Resilience does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that challenges do not exist. It does not mean suppressing emotions or acting as if everything is always okay. Instead, resilience is about acknowledging the discomfort, sitting with it, and then choosing to move forward anyway. It is about embracing the difficulties, learning from them, and using them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. A woman who walks alone understands that strength is not just about endurance. It is about transformation. She does not just survive her challenges, she grows because of them. Every time she faces judgment and chooses self-acceptance, she becomes stronger. Every time she steps outside of her comfort zone and proves to herself that she can handle life on her own terms, she builds resilience. Resilience through discomfort means understanding that struggle is not the enemy, it is the teacher. It is in discomfort that she learns who she truly is. It is in the quiet moments when no one is there to validate her choices that she discovers the depth of her own strength. It is in the face of societal pressure that she reaffirms her own worth, independent of anyone else's approval. This resilience is not about pretending that life is always easy or that she never longs for companionship. It is about recognizing that she is enough just as she is. It is about knowing that she can build a life filled with purpose, passion, and fulfillment, whether she walks with someone by her side or not. To every woman who walks alone, your resilience is your power. You are proof that discomfort is not a reason to stop. It is a reason to keep going. You are not just surviving. You are thriving, growing, and becoming. And that, more than anything, is what makes you unstoppable. From the moment we enter the world, we are wired for connection. We seek acceptance, love, and a sense of belonging. But too often we are taught that belonging must come from outside of us, from a partner, a family, a community that validates our place. Society reinforces the idea that a woman's sense of belonging is tied to her relationships, particularly to having a husband or a traditional family structure. But what happens when a woman walks alone? Does she cease to belong? Does her life lose meaning? The answer is a resounding no. True belonging does not come from external validation. It begins within. A woman who walks alone must learn this lesson firsthand. She navigates a world that often questions her choices, that asks when she will find someone, that assumes her life is waiting to begin. She hears whispers, spoken or unspoken, that imply she is incomplete without a husband. But she knows better. She knows that her worth is not defined by her relationship status and that belonging is not something given to her by others. It is something she cultivates within herself. Belonging is not about fitting in. It is not about molding ourselves into shapes that make others comfortable. It is about standing in our own truth and saying, I am enough as I am. A woman who walks alone is not lacking. She is claiming her space unapologetically. She does not shrink herself to meet societal expectations. Instead, she expands into her fullest self, embracing every part of who she is. But this journey is not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when she wonders if she is making the right choices. There will be times when she looks around and sees others settling into lives that fit the traditional mold, and she may question whether she should do the same. This is where the real work of belonging begins, not in seeking external reassurance, but in reaffirming to herself that she is exactly where she is meant to be. Belonging to oneself means honoring our own needs, desires, and boundaries. It means choosing to live authentically, even when that means walking a different path. It means recognizing that we do not need to be chosen by someone else to be whole. When a woman finds belonging within herself, she moves through the world with confidence. She is no longer swayed by the expectations of others because she understands that her life is her own. She stops apologizing for who she is and instead embraces her own story with pride. She finds joy in her own company. She creates a life filled with purpose, passion, and deep connection, not because she is searching for belonging, but because she has already found it within herself. And from that place of inner belonging, she attracts relationships and friendships that honor her, not because she needs them to complete her, but because they add to the richness of a life she has already built. To every woman who walks alone, you are not lost. You are not waiting. You are not less. You belong to yourself, to your dreams, to the world. And that belonging is the most powerful foundation you will ever stand on. To be seen as we truly are, to step into the world unapologetically, without masks, without pretense, is one of the bravest things a person can do. Yet for a woman who walks alone, without a husband, this act of being seen can feel especially daunting. In a world that often measures a woman's worth by her relationship status, standing alone can feel like an act of defiance. But make no mistake, it is also an act of power. To dare to be seen means to show up fully in life, without shrinking, without hiding, without conforming to what others expect. It means not allowing society to dictate what fulfillment looks like. It means existing as your whole self, even when others don't understand, even when they question your choices, even when they project their own insecurities onto you. A woman who dares to be seen challenges the traditional narrative. She does not define her success by whether she is married or not. She does not wait for a partner to validate her existence. She refuses to make herself small in order to fit into a mold that was never designed for her. Instead, she stands in her truth, owning every part of her story, the victories, the struggles, the solitude, the strength. But daring to be seen is not always easy. It requires stepping out of comfort zones and facing the possibility of judgment, criticism, or misunderstanding. It means walking into a room where people expect to see a wedding ring and holding her head high, knowing she is whole without it. It means responding to questions like, "Why are you still single?" with confidence rather than shame. It means celebrating her life even when others fail to do so. Daring to be seen is about choosing authenticity over approval. It is about standing in front of the world and saying, "This is me, my life, my choices, my path, and I will not apologize for it." It is about rejecting the idea that a woman's value is tied to her ability to be chosen by someone else. It is about embracing every part of herself, even the parts that society tells her should be different. And when a woman dares to be seen, something incredible happens. She gives others permission to do the same. She becomes a symbol of strength, not only for herself, but for every other woman who has ever felt the pressure to conform. She shows the world that a woman can walk alone and still be powerful, fulfilled, and complete. She does not need to explain herself. She does not need to justify her path. She does not need to meet anyone else's expectations. She only needs to live boldly, truthfully, and fully, because that is where real freedom lies. To every woman who walks alone, dare to be seen. Stand in your truth. Walk with confidence. The world may not always understand, but that does not mean you are on the wrong path. It simply means you are brave enough to walk it. A woman who walks alone is not a woman who is lost, incomplete, or waiting to be saved. She is a woman who has chosen courage over conformity, authenticity over expectation, resilience over fear, and self-belonging over external validation. She understands that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a gateway to strength. She refuses to let discomfort define her and instead allows it to shape her into someone even stronger. She does not seek permission to live fully. She claims her space unapologetically. She knows that belonging begins within and that true fulfillment is not found in meeting the world's expectations, but in honoring her own path. And most importantly, she dares to be seen, not as someone who is missing something, but as someone who is whole, powerful, and enough exactly as she is. So, to every woman walking alone, keep going, keep choosing yourself, keep standing in your truth, because the most courageous thing you will ever do is live your life boldly, unapologetically, and without fear of being seen. You are not just walking alone, you are walking with purpose, strength, and undeniable power. And that is something no one can take away from you. Thank you.